So we have reached the end of my Slayer vinyl collection, and this redoing of the whole collection is thanks to a viewer, and much appreciated, because the versions that I'd originally posted and the versions that were available on a different channel were really poor, so these are at least improved. The following topic is thanks to another viewer, and that will be handled soon. So before we get into the last segment of the collection, and you'll have to forgive me because of the amount of records that I'm going to be showing. There may be jump cuts. This one may be a little bit sloppy, so there may be some edits and cuts because of the amount of records to be shown in this section. So that's why I've also flipped the camera to the other side of the room. But before I get into that, I will be showing one other piece that I was going to do in a short, but just decided to just show it here. This is the 2010 original version of the Vinyl Conflict box set from RTI. Massive, 11 album deal, starting with Rain and Blood and going to World Painted Blood. The Christ Illusion version is the second cover variant. So it's like the first pressing of that album. It doesn't have a lenticular cover. And the only double album, I believe, is the live version. So that means there's compression on Diabolus, because that one was two. But anyway, that's not what you're here for. So we're going to start it just because I don't have these here, so in any particular order. I think they're just in the order that I purchased them, and so that's just how my collection was assembled, at least in terms of the bootlegs. This is Angel of Death, Volume 1. Angels of Death, Volume 1. This is number 260 of 313 from May 31st, 98, the Warfield, San Francisco. With Clutch in support. Track listing: Hell Awaits, Spirit in Black, referenced here as Spirits in Black, War Ensemble, Death's Head, South of Heaven, Captor of Sin, and Die with the Sword. And that's the funny thing about bootlegs, is that there's a lot of misspellings and errors and such. And that's one of the things that I find fun about them. And as we go further, we'll get into some more hilarious ones. This is Angels of Death, Volume 2. This is also number 260 of 313, and that happened by lucky accident because this was purchased at different times from, I believe, different sellers, but this has been so long now, those details I no longer remember. State of Mind, Rain and Blood, Dead Skin Mask, Chemical Warfare, Mandatory Suicide, and finishing with Angel of Death. Now, as I did for my Disturbed video on the other channel, I showed some close-ups of stuff that needed to be displayed in more detail. This will happen again on a few of these because I won't be able to fold out in full detail and all that. Okay, this is Live in New York from '86. This is number 1 of 150, which is why this one will remain sealed. That's a touchy subject for some collectors, but in this case, this particular version will remain sealed because, again, happy accident getting the number that I got. Angel of Death, Dive of the Sword, Praise of Death, Necrophiliac, which is one of my personal favorites from Hell Awaits, Necrophobic, Reborn, Postmortem, Chemical Warfare, Altar of Sacrifice, and Jesus Saves. It's the track list here. This is Blow Your Head Clean Off, again from San Francisco. This is the Warfield Auditorium, December 7th, 2001. And like I said, this one will need more detail because there's more things to show. But this is just a fold-out sleeve, so it's not, But we'll get to that at the end. As far as the technical specs on this release, I'd have to look it up and compare it to the Warfield DVD. So I don't remember when the date of that was shot, but that was Paul's last performance in that stint of the band, because this has Lombardo credited on the drums, and that could be an error. But like I said, we will explore these in more detail, and there's a lot more Dirty Harry references for those of you that are familiar with that. Okay, here's one of the more rarer bootlegs. This is Kill, Kill, Kill. And this one isn't easy to find. This is a double album, and this is a bootleg from the time, both in recording and when this was pressed. Back cover may get me in trouble, but I really don't care since none of this stuff is monetized. I discovered who this was. It's some 80s Playboy model. I forget the name now, and it doesn't matter anymore at this point. But here we go. This Eardrum Meltdown was recorded at a Lethal live performance in '85 at the Dynamo in Holland. This was a legendary group of performances on their first European tour, because they'd done a lot of West Coast stuff. This was also the year that they did the tour with Venom and Exodus. that they released on VHS. And I have more recordings later from these shows as well. This version is pressed in 1990. Hell Awaits, Aggressive Perfecter, Captor of Sin, Praise of Death, Haunting the Chapel, Crypts of Eternity, Necrophiliac, Black Magic, Die by the Sword, Hardening of the Arteries, Fight Till Death, At Dawn They Sleep, Drum Solo, Evil Has No Boundaries, Chemical Warfare, Kill Again. These are just straight black vinyl. And was expensive when I got it, and it's just gone up in price since. Okay, these are the only mistakes that I've ever made in going after bootlegs. These are fake, beyond fakes, because of course bootlegs are fakes and they're illegal and they're questionable. But these are fakers from that. I believe this is taken from, and again, I don't have the dates at the top of my head, but I believe this was the Anaheim concert that was included in the soundtrack to the Apocalypse. But I'm not sure the date off the top of my head. But the note on these is that even though you know, things are questionable, clear vinyl, so that is kind of neat. And I believe that, yeah, this one is just the standard black. The clear version is number 3 of 5, and this is 17 of 25. But since this is all of dubious origin, you know, you never know, because they can always make more. That's the nature of dealing with these. This is Torture in Toronto. I believe this is from '84. This is another double set on black vinyl. This is October 27th, '84 in Toronto, Canada. Evil Has No Boundaries, Haunting the Chapel, Captor of Sin, Praise of Death, Chronics, Necrophiliac, Face the Slayer, which is one that wasn't played very often and is a favorite of mine from Show No Mercy. Black Magic finishes up side B. Aggressive Perfecter, Antichrist, Chemical Warfare, Fight Till Death, Final Command, Die by the Sword, Show No Mercy. There's, yeah, so there is that one. And a lot of these you also don't know when they were actually pressed. It could, be older recordings and whatnot that was just held on to. Again, that's just part of how it goes with bootlegs. Here's probably the oldest one that I have, as far as the date when it was recorded originally, and this was one of the first shows that was. This is from the Woodstock Club in '83. This is the first command. There's also another after this called the final command. Both of these are incredibly difficult to get the hands on. And I was lucky enough to be able to grab it the time that I did. This is number 486 of 500. And you can tell how early this is by the photo, because look at Jeff's hair. You'll also notice there's no sunglasses. Black Magic, Die with the Sword, Tormentor, Simple Aggression, Blitzkrieg, Ice Titan, Assassin, Knight Rider, Chronix, Aggressive Perfector, and High Priestess. So this is early, because a lot of these were renamed, dropped from the set list. There's some of them, again, that showed up in the Soundtrack to the Apocalypse set, which we will be getting to in other videos. But a lot of these songs from early in the set list, from, you know, they're basically just out of high school days, were dropped or altered soon after. And this is another reason why I like bootlegs, because it's a document of what was going on at the time. Now, imagine, you know, your favorite band and having, you know, live recordings from the audience from different eras, say, like from their first tour or from their last tour. You know, yeah, I'm weird like that. Okay, here is Satan's Little Helper. And there is the back of it. Raining Blood, Die with the Sword, Praise of Death, Necrophiliac, Aggressive Perfector, Black Magic, Captor of Sin, Reborn, and Postmortem. Recorded in Berlin, April 27th, '87. And not that I want to get a political statement, but this is hilarious. You've got on the A side, and I'll have to be careful so I don't drop the record, but you've got Kerry King, and that's W. Bush. Again, not making a political statement, but that is funny. And that would at least suggest to me, without looking it up and not knowing off the top of my head, this is probably when it was pressed. Because that appears to be an early 2000s photo of him, so it was, this was probably done between 2000 and 2001 probably, but I'd have to look that up, but there isn't a lot for reference for a lot of these. This is In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. This is on clear. Vinyl. There's the back of that. Here, I'll get it eventually. The Devil Came to Dance. Select mixing desk recordings from the group's unforgettable shows at Essen Gughali. If I'm mispronunciating that, which I probably am, I apologize. It's January 10th, 1989. Read Between the Lines, which is actually Read Between the Lies. Black Magic, Postmortem, At Dawn They Sleep, Die with the Sword, Kill Again, among others. And we've got misspellings on the names. I said, interesting. And it's an interesting title for a bootleg, because they just put that Iron Butterfly cover for the Less Than Zero soundtrack, which I showed in that video, and that's one of the worst things that they'd ever done. Here's another one in a similar style to that. This is, again, just on black. This time, Metal Massacre. And if you know band's history, you'll know Metal Massacre Volume 3, first professional recording. So this is A Trip to Hell in 46 Minutes. This is more from Eindhoven in 85. Hell Awaits, Aggressive Perfector, Captor of Sin, Praise of Death, Haunting the Chapel, Final Command, Crypts of Eternity, Necrophiliac, Black Magic, Die with a Sword. Soundboard equipment from 5/28/85. Once again, back of that. But take another look at the photo they used for Dave. That is hilarious, right there. At least I think so. Again, straight black vinyl. Greetings from My Guts. And a rather hilarious photo, which I don't know the origins of, but I do have a 7-inch single with the same artwork from a different band. So, not sure of the origins of the photograph, but it's hilarious nonetheless. San Francisco, 7/13/84. Hello 8s with the intro. Evil has no boundaries, haunting the chapel, face the slayer. Final command, necrophiliac chronics. The other side, black magic, aggressive protector, error, Antichrist, capture of sin, chemical warfare, fight till death. Random naked person on the back. That's what the center labels look like. And next up we have another older one and another pricier one. This is Captors of Sin. Another double disc. And I believe, here, showing it again, that I believe this one has the most errors as far as names and spellings and all that. This is an album dedicated to all metalhead sex junkies, daily dose inducers, and innocent bystanders. Up 'em. Long live the metal age. Distributed by Devil's Records, France. This is a Belgian recording, side A, from 5/26/85. Track listing, Hello 8s. Aggressive. Protector. Capture of Sin, Final Command, Antichrist, Necrophiliac. Side B, from Nuremberg, West Germany. On the 14th of June, 1985. Kill Again, Crypts of Eternity, Black Magic, Die by the Sword. Side C, taken from the same place, but at a different date. Haunting the Chapel, Praise of Death, Fight Till Death, At Dawn They Sleep. And side D is Show No Mercy, Antichrist, and Chemical Warfare, from the same date as side B. Evil Has No Boundaries is from 5/26/85, same as side A. So here we go. Yeah, this is a fun one, and there you get that usual Tom smile. And Devil's Records on the center label. There's the reverse. Orange. Same. Devil's Records. Green on the other. This is The Blood Before the Rain. Angel of Death, Piece by Piece, Necrophobic, Grimly Insane, Reborn, Postmotive, Mortem, not Postmotive, excuse me, Raining Blood, Aggressive Perfector. And this is on a lovely kind of candy red. These have already been shown. Okay. Songbook of the Antichrist, Part 1. That'll look familiar to those of you that watched the Odds and Sods. Raining Blood, Killing Fields, One Ensemble, At Dawn, They Sleep, Divine Intervention, Ditto Head, Captor of Sin, 213, South of Heaven, so this is from the 12th of March 1985 in Mesa, Arizona, which is essentially Phoenix. So this is the live intrusion, I believe, or at least if it wasn't the same show, it was same tour. But I don't remember the date off the top of my head for that, because that's one DVD of theirs I don't have. I have seen it though many times. This is Part 2, Songbook of the Antichrist, South of Heaven, Sex and Murder Art, Mandatory Suicide, Angel of Death, Hell Awaits, Witching Hours. That's with Rob Flynn of Machine Head, Chemical Warfare. This is Boys Keep Swinging. The chicks have fun as well. Hell Awaits, Altar of Sacrifice, At Dawn They Sleep, Postmortem, Chemical Warfare, Evil Has No Boundaries, Fight Till Death, Show No Mercy. All tracks side A plus 1 and 2 of side B were recorded live from the Soundboard in Berlin, April 27th, 87. Side B, tracks 3 through 5, were recorded in Belgium, May the 26th, 87. Make sure you get a copy of the follow-up to this great record, Flood of Blood, Reign of Justice, due late for a spring release, featuring more fantastic material from the 87 tour. Both LPs appear under license of Totally Tasteless Titles Productions, Stockholm. And Reign of Justice is one I have not been able to track down. I have seen it a few times, but that's just it. Just seen it listed. But the one thing with me is that although I have been successful on the few times that I have gone for buying from international sellers, I don't make a habit of doing it. And of course, you know, this is, 14 or so years ago when I did the bulk of my buying of these, because I was able to afford to do that at the time. Now, I would be even more careful doing international purchases. Of course, that's just me. You don't have to listen to my opinion on that. Okay. Continuing along. This is Rare Trucks, Volume 1. I actually have this design in a t-shirt. I believe this is from, at least the t-shirt was from 2006. There's the back of it. Side 1, Inagata de Vida, Less Than Zero soundtrack. Disorder is from the Judgment Night soundtrack, which was a '93 movie with Ice-T. Human Disease, Bride of Chucky soundtrack. A rehearsal version of December '83, The Antichrist, Fight Till Death, also rehearsal. Piece by Piece, Studio Rough Mix, outtake with original bass intro. Side True, No Remorse, I Want to Die from the Spawn soundtrack, 97 or something. Ice Titan from California. Memories of Tomorrow. Suicidal Tendencies cover from Japanese CD pressing. 12-inch remix of Criminally Insane. Aggressive Perfector from Criminally Insane 12-inch. Haunting the Chapel from the 12-inch only Haunting the Chapel. So that's another interesting one. Here's another Eindhoven recording from 5/28/85. Violent Brains. This one isn't in the best of shape, but again, considering the age of this and the rarity of a lot of these, it's to be expected. And a lot of these put two records in a single sleeve, which of course causes extra damage and hastens the damage that you will experience because they can't handle the weight. Produced by Pim, printed in Chile. Gromco Records, licensed from Megafarts. No thanks to Steve Gregg. Thanks to everyone at the Dynamo. Side A, Hell Awaits, Aggressive Perfector. Capture of Sin, Praise of Death, Haunting the Church. Really? Final Conflict. Crypts of Eternity. Necrophilian Maniac. Something or other. What the fuck? Blank Magic. Die by the Sword. Hardening of the Artillery. Fight Till Death. The Antichrist. At Dawn They Sleep. Show No Mercy. Evil Has No Boundaries. Chemical Warfare. Homicidal Maniac. Lineup: Kerry Kong, guitar. Tommy Araya, bass vocals. Jeff Hangman on guitar. So I guess there was no drummer. Funny. There's the center label for that. Standard black vinyl. I told you these get funny. These get really funny. Okay. Okay. Next. It's Praise of Death. I believe this is from 87. Dedicated to all fucking metalheads and hardcore assholes in the world will fight till death. Side 1, Raining Blood, Die by the Sword, Praise of Death. Side 2, Necrophiliac, Aggressive Protector, Black Magic, Capture of Sin, Reborn, Postmortem, Hell Awaits, Altar of Sacrifice, At Dawn They Sleep, Chemical Warfare, Evil Has No Boundaries, Fight Till Death, Show No Mercy. This is, again, from Belgium and Berlin. Sides 1 through 3 are April the 27th, 87 from Berlin, and 5/26, 87 in Belgium for side 4. On Blade Runner Records. These say Aaron Records. Here's another funny cover. This is another Eindhoven. From May of '85. This is Now It's Dark. And we have limited to 500. Hello AIDS, Aggressive Perfector, Captor of Sin, In Praise of Death, Necrophiliac, Black Magic, Haunting the Chapel, Final Command, Crypts of Eternity, Die by the Sword, Hardening of the Arteries, Fight Till Death, The Antichrist, At Dawn They Sleep, Show No Mercy, Evil Has No Boundaries, Chemical Warfare, Hell Again. Nice blue. And both of them are blue vinyl. Rare Tracks, Volume 2. Captor of Sin, Haunting the Chapel, rough mix from '84. Aggressive Perfector, Metal Massacre 3 from August of '83. Praise of Death Rehearsal, August 8th, '83. Chemical Warfare, Rehearsal from same date. Haunting the Chapel, Rehearsal, August 8th. So the same date, the other three. Necrophiliac, Rehearsal, August 8th, '83. Warlock, Rehearsal, August 8th, '83. Reborn, Def Jam Demo. Altar of Sacrifice, Def Jam Demo. Criminally Insane, Def Jam Demo. And Witching Hour, Live 94 with Machine Head. Center label, again, standard. Black. Raining Blood Demos. This album speeds through your brain. Notice That's a poor edition of the back cover from Rain and Blood. You'll notice on the front that Tom is wearing the shirt that Carrie most commonly wore during this era. Angel of Death, Piece by Piece, Necrophobic, Altar of Sacrifice, Jesus Saves, Criminally Insane. Reborn, Postmortem, Raining Blood, Aggressive Perfector, Raining Blood, and Seeds of Horror home demo by Jeff. And we have a just standard black label with Slayer in white lettering on a darker red vinyl. Till Death Do Us Part. From Jester Productions. That would be early era 84, 85-ish, or 83, 84, excuse me. Alive and Undead, U.S. Rehearsal Sessions, 84. Evil Has No Boundaries, Capture of Sin, Show No Mercy, Black Magic, Die with the Sword. Aggressive Predator, The Antichrist. Side Hell Awaits, U.S. Rehearsal Sessions, 84. Praise of Death, Necrophiliac, Hell Awaits, Kill Again, Warlock, Crypts of Eternity Edit. Just another sound board recording. Limited edition of 500 copies. Your copy is it's unnumbered. First 25 come with a boxed t-shirt. And then you have a Poverty Records label in, I guess, pink, and then one in orange, and songs have nothing to do with Slayer. Here's one I was after for a while, and didn't like the prices that I saw on eBay, but I found this in Salt Lake City for about half of what it was going for, and so I decided to grab it. This is Live in Montreux, 2002. July the 7th in Switzerland. War Ensemble, Stain of Mind, Threshold, Postmortem, Raining Blood, Hell Awaits, Die with the Sword, Born of Fire, Bloodline, God Send Death, Dead Skin Mask, Seasons, The Abyss, Payback, Mandatory Suicide, Chemical Warfare, South of Heaven, and Angel of Death. And see, here you go. A lot of these songs from, God Hates Us All, they didn't play except on the tour, because going forward, the only one you'd get out of that set would be the Darkness of Christ intro with Disciple, and a lot of the stuff was left off after the tour. That happened a lot with Divine Intervention, happened a lot with Diabolus. There's a lot of songs from Christ Illusion that unfortunately they didn't play very often except on a tour, which is a shame because that album, at least in my opinion, is pretty good. And it's definitely up there in their catalog as far as I'm concerned. But there you go. Slaying Stockholm. This is on clear vinyl. Disciple, Jihad, Cult, Dive of the Sword, Supremacist, Eyes of the Insane, Dead Skin Mask, Rain and Blood, Killing Fields, Mandatory Suicide. All tracks on side 1 and track 1 and 2 on side 2 were recorded in Stockholm 11/16/2006. Tracks 3, 4, and 5 on side 2 recorded live from Bergam, Holland, 6/26/96. Support you, Slatanic Vermark. And you will know that reference. Or at least you should. I kind of gave you a hint. Okay. This is a radio broadcast God Listens to Slayer. Aggressive Perfector, Face the Slayer, Final Command, Captor of Sin, Necrophiliac, Chronics, Fight Till Death, The Antichrist, Haunting the Chapel, Black Magic, Dive of the Sword, Evil Has No Boundaries, and Show No Mercy. This is manufactured in the EU, limited to 300 copies. Not a bootleg. This one is. This is Monsters of Rock 94 from Buenos Aires. Another double disc set. Hell Awaits, Antichrist, Spirit in Black, Mind Control, Jesus Saves, Captor of Sin, Dead Skin Mask, Seasons, Mandatory Suicide, War Ensemble, Dive of the Sword, South of Heaven, Angel of Death. From Fallen Angel, made in the EU. Personally, I much prefer ending the set with Chemical Warfare, but of course it was changed. Feature Angel, but there's another Monsters of Rock from Argentina. This is number 62 of 1000. September 3rd, 94, Slayer performed in front of 60,000 rabid Argentinian fans as part of the Monsters of Rock South American tour together with Black Sabbath and Kiss. Something of a greatest hits package, their superb set broadcast on Much Music TV took in classics from Show No Mercy, Hell Awaits, Rain and Blood, South of Heaven, and Seasons in the Abyss, as well as Divine Intervention, which was released later that month. It's presented in full here, together with background notes and images. Hell Awaits, Antichrist, Spirit in Black, Mind Control, Jesus Saves, Captor of Sin, Dead Skin Mask, Seasons, Mandatory Suicide, War Ensemble, Die with a Sword, South of Heaven, Angel of Death. So here you go. Another time capsule, but also right before Divine was released. So again, interesting note. And we are almost done. This is Slayer from Monsters of Rock, Santiago, Chile, September 94, US TV broadcast. Hell Awaits, Antichrist, Spirit in Black, Die with a Sword, Mind Control, Postmortem, Raining Blood, Altar of Sacrifice, Jesus Saves, Captor of Sin, Mandatory Suicide, War Ensemble. This is a 2019 release, not exportable to the USA, limited to 500 copies. It is an embarrassment given my family history, but I cannot pronounce that title, so I will not even attempt. But there you go. More Monsters of Rock. And there's your label. It's the same on both sides. Black with white writing. There's your red vinyl. I believe we only have a couple more, so we have reached the end of this long segment, but we will be finishing with a box set, so that will take some time to go into detail about. This is Praying to Satan, live radio broadcast at Zenith, Paris, France, November 22nd, 91. I don't know how well it's going to come out, but that's the spine. In yellow. Hello H / Antichrist, War Ensemble, South of Heaven, Raining Blood, Altar of Sacrifice, Jesus Saves, Die with the Sword, Dead Skin Mask, Season of the Abyss, Born of Fire, Chemical Warfare, Mandatory Suicide, and Angel of Death. Limited to 500 copies from 2019 Mind Control Records from the EU. And we will finish up with something that I will have to be very careful with because this thing is very flimsy and it is very heavy. This is 1984 Horror box set. I believe this was the last bootleg purchase that I made, at least as far as purchasing from eBay, because a lot of the Monsters of Rock and the radio stuff I actually purchased from a website that I buy from frequently, and so usually whenever one of those recordings show up, I usually grab one. But this was the last purchased from eBay and the like. Again, I have to be careful because there's like 4 or 5 records in here. So, but this is from Wellington's, Winnipeg, Manitoba, 10/24/1984. Hello Aids, Aggressive Perfector, Faceless Slayer, Necrophiliac, Chronics, Final Command, Captor of Sin, Chemical Warfare, Fight Till Death, Antichrist, Black Magic, Die with the Sword, Evil Has No Boundaries, Haunting the Chapel, and Show No Mercy. From Empire, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, November the 1st, 1984. Evil Has No Boundaries, Haunting the Chapel, Faceless Slayer, Final Command, Chronics, Captor of Sin, Black Magic, Aggressive Perfector, The Antichrist, Chemical Warfare, Fight Till Death, Die with the Sword, and Show No Mercy. From the Loft in Baltimore, Maryland, November 9th, 1984. Evil Has No Boundaries, Haunting the Chapel, Faceless Slayer, Final Command, Captor of Sin, Black Magic, Die with the Sword, The Antichrist, Chemical Warfare, Fight Till Death, and Show No Mercy. There's also a couple of posters in here. I'm not going to pull them out, but you can see again the design. It's very similar to what I've got on my back. These are all just black. And I'll pull one out to show the center label. So that's what everything looks like. Well, that was a long one. This was quite an undertaking, and if you've stuck with me, thank you. We will continue on, showing various things from the collection. CDs will be done in a redo as well pretty soon. And then the other topic that I was asked to cover, as well as showing other things from my collection. Again, we'll continue with t-shirts. I know that's rather boring, but you know, that'll be showing as well other clothing and some other interesting stuff that haven't been shown before, and this I haven't checked, but maybe they haven't even been shown on YouTube at all. I don't know though definitively, but you know, we'll see. But we'll be showing more stuff from the collection, various other things, and if there's any ideas you have on subjects you'd like me to cover, I'll take it under advisement. Thank you for watching, and if you've stuck with me this long through this video and through this whole series, thank you. This is labor of love, kind of, you know, just a hobby of mine, since in my social group I'm the only one into heavy metal, I'm the only one into Slayer, and I'm the only one into Slayer at this level where it goes, you know, just one-sided crazy. So this is basically an outlet for me to share my thoughts, release the stuff that's in my head, show my collection, and get to talk with all of you. So, thank you. This is a close-up of the Blow Your Head Clean Off bootleg. Since this is a sleeve fold-out type, so not your typical jacket, that's why this had to be shown this way in close-up, because I wouldn't be able to get this all in focus and everything with the camera pointed straight on. So you have the front, there's the back, which I also showed. Then you get that there. And that's what the center level looks like on the record. These are just standard black, like I said. But then you get the famous quote from Dirty Harry. I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5? Well, to tell you the truth, in all this excitement, I've kind of lost track myself. But being this is a .44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, and would blow your head clean off, you've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do ya, punk? And then that opens up into this. And as you can see, that's why I was unable to get that in full view. So there you have it.